Bloodline 2.0 update. Because, yeah, Backlash, we didn't go live afterwards because it being in a weird time. And someone popped up, new member. Tongaloa. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Tongaloa.
Mm-hmm.
Who was Camacho,
Mm-hmm.
if you tuned in yesterday. And now we got that member of the Bloodline added. And now it's circling around that Jacob Fatu's. I mean, it's imminent. He's signed essentially, obviously, with everything reported.
Mm-hmm.
But now, Sarah, and here's where I'm just gonna let you pop off about this. Everyone's saying that Jacob Fatu could potentially outshine Solo Sikoa, and they're worried about bringing him on because of that. Which worried is a strong word.
I the thing that I find the most interesting about this is that for so long we were treated as if, as WWE fans, that we didn't know about people who didn't wrestle in WWE. Like we
Mm-hmm.
were tunnel vision. Like we only knew if you were ever in WWE. We don't know anyone in New Japan, TNA, now AEW. Like we don't know anybody on the indies. Like they won't treated us like we were dumb, you know? And then now it's like, oh well, if Jacob Fatu comes in, it's like everyone's going to be so excited and so obsessed and he's going to take over. And it's like, okay, so which is it? You know, like, do we know about people who aren't in WWE, or do we know? Because I feel like this guy just showing up, why would we all of a sudden decide that he was the leader of the new bloodline? Like, I'm really confused about that, because it's like people are familiar with him. They know the Fatu name, obviously.
Pretty
Um,
common.
and it takes a quick Google search of Jacob Fatu to know what type of wrestler he is. But like, isn't like who the leader is or who people perceive as the leader going to depend on how they book them? Like how you have the story progress and what you have each of them doing. Like, if anything, that same argument could have been made when Roman wasn't around. When Roman wasn't around, the Usos and Solo were still doing stuff. So does that mean that Roman was seen any less than the tribal chief? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that they've been doing a good job so far with what they've had Solo and Tamatonga do. I think that if anybody is having a hard time seeing Solo as the new tribal chief, is just because, hello, it was 3.5 years, 4 years of seeing Roman Reigns as the tribal chief. Like, yeah, it's going to take time to adjust to one, not having Roman on TV for months and months at a time, and two, to see a new guy kind of trying to perform those duties. So, I think it's up to WWE. It's going to be up to you. You either continue to do what you're doing and making Solo look like this tough guy, maybe adding some more stuff to his repertoire more than just the thumb. And then, you know, when you bring in Jacob, don't give him the opportunity to outshine Solo. Like,
Yeah, it's
don't,
pretty easy.
yeah,
We're not
I
gonna
mean,
lie.
I get it if like fans decide that they want to kind of like, if they gravitate towards Jacob more, but at the same time, aren't we not supposed to be supporting them? Like, aren't we supposed to not want this Bloodline 2.0? So that's the thing that's like confusing too. Like,
It's all
I
about
I don't
it's all
know.
about bringing him in. It's all about how they do it. And at this point, you kind of you hit the nail on the head with that. Like, it doesn't matter if he does get more popular
Mm-hmm.
because it's all about how you book him in that way. But also, like, who cares?
Well,
To me, it's just like, who cares? Like, he gets more popular. All right, well, maybe he's not the leader, and you make Solo leader, and then you do something with it, and then everyone's at going in on and wanting Jacob Fatu to be like, then you have something there as a story. It just
but it's also like, I'm not saying that they're comparable, but we didn't have this concern with The Rock and Roman.
no.
No one was saying anything other than the people like me, but no one was, at least we didn't hear reports about, oh gosh, the creative team is worried because The Rock is like, he's still getting pops, or he's looking more like the tribal chief instead of Roman. No one was saying stuff then, and it's like, that's The Rock, dude. Like, we can't assume that people are going to know who Jacob Fatu is. Like, there are going to be fans who are very aware of him because they are well versed in wrestling as a whole outside of WWE. So there are going to be people who are very familiar with what he does in his career, but the vast majority of people are only going to recognize who his father is, who his cousins are, what his last name is, and then they're going to look at him and know that he's a tough SOB. Other than that, it's like, what? Like, you're really, this seems more like banking on the internet wrestling fan. Like, that's what I feel like it is, because I'm like, otherwise we haven't had this concern at all. If you were, then you wouldn't be going in this direction with the Bloodline to begin with, because the only reason you're really bringing in Jacob Fatu is because of this Bloodline 2.0 vision that you had.
Exactly.
So, I don't know, man.
It feels like you are catering to the internet fan who's just saying this because it's this one day, and then the next day we're going to hear that, oh, this is not true and whatnot, because for the past week or so, I've seen so many reports about stuff that we haven't talked about here, because the next day it's debunked or something. This
also just feels like they're preparing for the worst. Like, if like Solo doesn't become the guy that they want, it's like they want to blame it on something already. But I don't know. To me, this just feels like internet stuff. This feels like something Meltzer would say. Like, like they're just like, it's damage control in the future or something. But WWE is really in control of how this happens. So if this doesn't go the way that they want it to, it's going to be because of them. It's not going to be because of the fans' reaction to Jacob Fatu. Like,